Hello, David Paul here. Where do I start with this? Um, in discussion with my girlfriend in the Philippines, she appears to be getting frustrated with the possibility that I might not be able to bring her and the kids over, and the slow progress of work and whatever. But I can't get people to understand this point. I'm a retired teacher, and I'm not really obligated to work my arse off for everybody. And I'm doing things for people. And so I got to do it my way, and it's exhausting. So I just got to just get on with it and present them with a fait accompli, because nobody really understands what the hell I'm doing here. Okay, well, where I am at the minute is I've got this wall here constructed, this concrete wall, and I have this other one started over here, which is inching its way up day by day, like about 4 to 6 inches a day. And then I do other work which is involving woodwork now. I'm constructing a door for there. I've got this door thing to go into the window to be popped in there. And it's brutal hard work. It's brutal hard work because of the heat. The heat jacks up to like 36, 38 degrees. And all of a sudden, we're into August now, and all of a sudden it's starting to cool down a bit. And I've realized what it is and any human being trying to work in this heat, what you're doing is you're pushing your enzymes, biochemistry, into a zone that they're not supposed to operate in. And your body doesn't want you to work like this. It wants to stop, So that's why it's so hard work. But what I've done is I've reduced the work to the pace that I need to do to get this finished before I go back to the UK to start teaching again. And there's nothing much more I can do. It's all donkey work, this, because I can't get the wood for the floors. I can't find anybody to sell me eucalyptus wood. So that's not happening. I got the roof to do, so I'm going to put, create a floor there, and then I'm going to get up and do that roof. That's all like no cost, just labour work, but it's important. You get that roof sealed, and now you got a functional house. Now the key factors are getting the windows shut. So these shutters, I'm going to utilise those, just the shutters at the minute. I've tidied up the windows outside by removing the frames, and we're going to have a door in there. Okay, the door goes in there. There is a door for here, which I take off when I arrive here. When I first come to the house, every time I come to the house, I remove this door. And it's getting moderately comfortable in here. It's a life, it's a life. And I have the ability to cook food. It's rough, but what the hell, I'm pleased with that, because I did that. And my critics, whatever they might have to say, my friend Marty's coming down here, and he'll bitch on about everything. Oh, I wouldn't do this. Why can't you get somebody to do it and get builders and this and that and the other? First of all, the workforce. We have a low population in Portugal, especially in rural Portugal. And we also have a lot of older people who simply get on with their lives and do a little bit of farming and stuff. And they haven't, even if I had millions, well, obviously if I had millions, but it's difficult to even employ people. So you got to do stuff yourself here, And if you just accept that, suck it up and get on with it, you make progress. Now, I'm going to make financial progress when I get back to the UK, because I'm going to start working. And I'm doing okay. I'm getting through the month. I'm supporting my little family, the woman and 4 children back in the Philippines. I'm doing just fine. But I don't know. She says she's concerned that I might not be able to bring them all over. Well, if I can't bring them all over, I'll find another plan. I will come up with another plan B. I'm I have a place in the world which is a house where I can go if I'm ever made homeless again, because I have been made homeless by relationships in the past, and that's not going to happen again because I got this a place, you know, I got this place. So this place is just going to get better and better and better. And eventually, if the Portuguese don't give me a visa, well, it'll just become a holiday home. And the only reason why they would refuse me a visa is because I didn't make enough money. Well, I would get round that by doing more teaching. I'm prepared to work, you know. And it pisses me off, you know, like when people chew on about stuff that they want and they want done and they, you know. But I'm the guy who's got to do the work. You know, I'm the guy who has to do it. So, moving on upstairs, we get to the project at hand at the moment. I don't want to spend money on the door of the house, and I have this old scrap wood door here, which I've been cutting down to size, and I'm going to fuse them together to form one solid door. I've ruined the saw cutting it. It's not going to be a work of art, but probably by midday tomorrow there is going to be a door in that hole there, and you're going to be able to close it. So now what we need to do is we need a floor, and there are timber offcuts off the edges of timber in the sawmill, the first slice of a log and so on. So I've come up with an ingenious plan as to how I can build a floor. It's not going to be a work of art, but it'll do for now. And eventually when I find somebody who's going to sell me some eucalyptus wood, I'll be able to do the floor that I want. But you know, all in all, it ain't too bad. For a 71-year-old guy, it's pretty, personally I regard it as rather heroic. And you know, everybody tells you all the time you've got to get somebody else to do things. You know, they're on at you all the time, on your case. But the problem with that is that, first of all, it's going to cost a fortune, so it never gets done. And you never get to realise your dreams because you're relying on somebody else. You know, as I keep referring to the Waltons, you know, when this young man is moaning on about him and his wife not having anywhere to live, and he says, well, you can use the old Walton place up the mountain. And he says, oh, well, that place needs a lot of fixing up. It'll take, you know, this and that and the other. And so the father goes out and he grabs a toolbox and throws it on the table. And he looks at the young man, and the young man says, so that's your answer? And he says, that's my answer. Just get on with it, you know. This modern world drives me nuts. The pathetic way that people, I don't know, they will not be self-reliant, you know. Everybody wants to click away at computers and never do anything. I mean, I on a teaching course, I demonstrated how to make a half-lap joint. The man who was hell let loose about this. Because, like, oh, they would just get a man in to do it, as they said, you know, a half-lap joint. My God. Anyway, I'm having a moan here. It's going fine. It's going fine. More concrete, more concrete, more concrete. Creep up, 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 up. Also, I can work harder now because it's cooling down. So what I'm going to do, I put my next layer of concrete in there. I'm amazed that I've used all that gravel. Look at that whole bag of gravel, and it's down to that now. It's astonishing. I shoveled that into this place, and I've mixed the damn stuff, and I put the stuff up. That's a real dopamine hit as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, whilst I've got to be careful I don't fall down here. Whilst working on that, in parallel, I'm going to start making the concreted area here, this plinth area, you might call it, which is for the giant what's called a Kiva stove, a Mexican style stove. Basically, most people would call it a pizza oven, but it's a Kiva stove. And the idea is that will heat us in winter time, and we'll also be able to cook. And it'll be a beautiful thing when it's finished. And that's it. I get the top of the house done, then we're good to go. I get plastered, put insulation in the roof, and we have a functional house that we can start living in. Then I start to put the glass windows in, and so on and so on and so on, and plaster. So after I get a floor in, the next job is to plaster the walls. It looks hideous, I will admit, but it's only hideous because it's, it just needs fixing. You just have to see the vision, and nobody sees the vision except me. Nobody sees what's inside my head. So I think I should stop talking about I put my YouTube channel up, but stop telling people in the family about what I'm doing and just show them the end result. But it's a shame that I can't share the joy with people, because they don't see the joy. They just see the obstacles. They don't see the fact that you could have, down here in Portugal, you can have a tremendous life if you're prepared to work. And there are plenty of people on YouTube, who are making a life down here in Portugal. And if you're prepared to work, put the work in, you can have an amazing life that you could never have, certainly back in the UK and in some places, in some situations in the United States. Although the US has got more capability for homesteading. But here it is, this is the life, and it's moving, it's moving. It's day by day. They get me down sometimes, the negativity, and it's not just my girlfriend. It's like, say, Keith will make remarks like, what I would do with your house, I would just drive a bulldozer through it. Well, what would that achieve? I've got a bulldozed house. It's not funny anymore, It's not funny anymore. I would drive a bulldozer through it. Or when she turns up, she'll take one look, turn around and go straight back to the airport, It's just not, You could just do with a bit of positivity from people. What's happened to the world? What has happened to the world that it becomes so pathetic? Pathetic. Anyway, that's not me. And I gotta knock this. I've lost the damned axe. The axe was there yesterday. Axe, hammer, everything. Every time I want something, it disappears. So this thing here, I've got to split the there where that lock is. I've got to split that and knock it off. And those handles, just knock them off with an axe and get that damn thing screwed together on and functional. We've got these old style hinges which are just holes in the stone, and I will fix it to that, and then I will have a door that I can open and close. It's symbolic. It's it's a forward movement, improvement. I use the metric in my life of what my son says. How does this improve the utility of my life? So at the minute, I'm going to concentrate on doors, and I'm going to concentrate on the ability to close the doors and have windows and not have a house that's open to the elements like it was. And then the next utility is going to be when the rains arrive at the end of the month, that the roof won't leak, because I will have fixed that. So, well, it's a moan. I know it's a moan, but I try to be real about what I'm doing, because these are these are obstacles you're all going to face if you try and do what I'm doing. And so this is a realistic representation of all the good, the bad and the ugly of what I'm doing, but I'm happy with what I've got so far. So, Jesus be with you.